everyone, welcome back to my channel.
Every day, every day, every day, every day.
And today I am joined with
Mum.
And in today's video, I am going to be doing something different and talking about epilepsy in dogs and explaining my dog's epilepsy.
Want me to start? Okay, Scamp is going to be 4 in August.
I'll put some pictures as well.
Yeah, we'll put some pictures of him. He's going to be 4 in August, and when he was 1, we realised that there was something wrong with him, so we took him to the vets, and the vet said he has epilepsy, which is very common in border collies because their brains are so active, and very common in male border collies. This is his medication box. As you can see, he's on a lot of medication. He has Pexion, and he has that twice a day. Then he has levetiracetam, which is a human drug which is known as Keppra. He has that 3 times a day. And then he has Phenobarb, which is that one he has with that one, so that one's twice a day as well.
So he's on a lot of medications, which isn't that good.
No, it's not good, but it just means that we can try and control his epilepsy a bit better. But at the minute, we're not really controlling his epilepsy as well as what we should be doing. What happens when he has his seizures is he has multiple seizures, so he just doesn't have one. He'll have a repetition of them, which are called grand mal seizures.
We
have to use
a
diazepam.
diazepam, which is this.
And what that does is you insert it into their bottom, and it gets absorbed into his bloodstream, and it's supposed to calm down his brain activity. It's like a sedative. It's supposed to calm down his brain activity.
It stops him from having continuous fit as well.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we used to be on 5 milligrams. We're now on the 10 milligram ones. But unfortunately, where we are at the minute is it doesn't really seem to be having much of an effect on Scamp. So what happens is he'll have a repetition of seizures, and then we have to ring up the emergency vet. He has to go to the emergency vet, and they will put in a needle into his, they'll shave off a bit of his paw. Yeah, put the cannula with the needle into his paw, and then they will put the liquid form of Phenobarb into his bloodstream. And what that does is that's to sedate him, in the hope that it'll give his brain a chance to calm down, because unfortunately when dogs do have epilepsy, their body temperature can be abnormally high, and the effect of that is they can actually fry themselves to death. So obviously it's quite an emergency that if he does have repetitions of seizures, that we do have to get him to the emergency vet as quickly as possible. It is expensive having a pet with epilepsy, but you can't put a price on dogs' heads, can you? He's very spoilt. He doesn't want for anything. People will ask me quite a lot, oh, but if he's epileptic, what is his quality of life? He still chases the ball. He still loves his food.
Cuddles.
Loves cuddles. He gives kisses, not with his tongue, but with his nose. We taught him to do it with his nose, so he gives Eskimo kisses. His quality of life is not affected at all. The only difference that we've noticed is with the Phenobarb, he has put on quite a lot of weight. So at the minute, we've had to put him on a diet, which I think is quite mean to do, but we have to do it because obviously, because he's only 4, nearly 4, as he gets older, he's at more risk of diabetes and arthritis. So we've done it for the best for Scamp. He's not that much overweight. But the thing is, border collies should be 25 kilograms and Scamp is 31.8. But then we only saw the increase in his weight when he was having the Phenobarb. So we do think this is the reason why, because he only eats 1 meal a day and he's still running around. So we do think it's down to medication, but we are restricting the amount of food he has just to make sure that he doesn't have any other health problems on top of the one he's already got. So the purpose of this really is just to let anybody know that if they have got a dog with epilepsy, or if you get a puppy and you do end up with a puppy with epilepsy, it's not the be all and end all. It's not a bad thing. I know what people do think it is quite scary, and to be honest, when he was first diagnosed we were panicking, but now we've just got used to it, and it's just something you live with, isn't it? I mean, this was the biggest issue we had, and it sounds silly, but we were quite scared of inserting that.
And most of us have been left home alone with them whilst he's had fits, so we don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, we've unfortunately, one thing that we have had to do as well is we always make sure that Scamp's never left alone, because the fear is if he's ever left alone and he has a seizure that he can't come out of, if there's nobody here, obviously seizures, as I said earlier, can be life-threatening, so we always make sure that somebody is at home, so we all know how to do this.
And also, many dogs can also die from having seizures, and that could be the cause of their death.
Yeah, obviously since Scamp's been diagnosed as being epileptic, to us, we'd never heard of dogs being epileptic. I'd never heard of dogs being epileptic, but after doing lots of research, it is a very common thing. But the only downside with epilepsy is finding the right drugs to treat it. As I say, the right drugs to treat it. As I say, I mean, these are Scamps. This is what Scamp is on at the minute. And we have good weeks, we have bad weeks. Really, it's just finding something that works for Scamp and for other dogs out there.
We also have a fan for him as well.
Yeah, in the heat, because in the UK at the minute, for people who are in the UK, we are extremely warm at the minute. And with Scamp being a border collie, he has 2 coats. He has a winter coat and a summer coat. So he gets very, very hot. And obviously, another thing as well with epilepsy, you do not want dogs to get too warm in the heat, because that again can form epilepsy seizures. So with the fan, and we try and monitor it as best we can.
And we give him ice cream after he's come out of his fit.
Oh yeah, another good tip as well. I did my research, and it was canine epilepsy angels, which are on the internet, and they are based in America, and they always say that after a seizure it's best to give a dog ice cream, Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, because it just because it just regulates the blood sugar levels and helps get the blood sugar levels back to normal. Because when they have a seizure, they are blind for a while, their sense of smell will go, and they can be very scared. But just to let you know as well, another important thing is, if your dog or anybody you know, or you get a dog, is found to have epilepsy, don't panic, because they are unconscious when they have their epileptic seizures. Because the first time Scamp had his seizures, it's called a vocal seizure, which means all the muscles around here relax. When they have a seizure, all their muscles relax, which is why they jerk. So we thought, because he was howling and squealing, we thought he was in pain, but the vet said they're not in pain. They're actually unconscious when it happens, so they're not aware of what happens.
So it's like he's hypnotised.
Yeah, so when they do regain consciousness, they are a bit disorientated. So really, it's just about keeping them comfortable, keeping them safe as well, because what we do as well is where Scamp sleeps, we make sure that there's lots of teddies and things around so he can't hurt himself.
Or hit his head.
Because that's another thing as well. Another cause of death with epilepsy in canines is they can actually hurt themselves when they're having a seizure. So always make sure that there's things around so they can't. And a very good important thing as well is never put anything in their mouth.
Don't put your hand in their mouth.
No, because when they have their seizure, their jaws clench and they do this, and obviously they're not aware they're biting you, they're not aware of what's happening, and obviously you can get bitten quite badly. So never put anything in their mouth. And if they are having a seizure, we found wet towels put them over the dog's body to try and keep them cool as well, but at all times just keep reassuring them. And trust me, the first time we ever witnessed Scamp seizures, we didn't know what was going on. You know, we thought it was the end. And nearly 3 years later, we're still here. Scamp's still here.
But you never know when the end is.
Yeah, obviously, we don't know if he's going to be here tomorrow, the week after, the next week. So we just live each day. We just live each day and take each day as it comes. He's comfortable. He loves life. He doesn't want for anything. He's spoilt rotten. So we do, if anything, we probably spoil him more now he has epilepsy. But all I really want to say is, if you've got a dog with epilepsy, or you end up getting a dog with epilepsy, because you don't know, it's a condition that you don't know until it actually happens. If you do, don't panic. It's not the be all and end all, and they don't suffer because they don't know what's happening. And if you have got any questions, because it can be quite scary, I don't mind answering questions. Leon doesn't mind answering questions, and we just really want to make people more aware that canine epilepsy, as in humans, is a big thing, and there is a lot of dogs out there that have it. So don't be scared. And as I said earlier, ask us anything you want about it. We don't mind asking questions, do we?
So that's basically the main purpose of today's video. If you liked it, subscribe. And
If you don't, still subscribe. Do it for Scamp and all the other epileptic dogs out there.
And if you do know anybody who's got an ill dog, comment down below.
And if you want any advice on anything canine wise,
Or anything else, just comment.
we will try our best to help you.
Bye.
Bye.